I know there are a lot of complicated legal questions that are likely to arise. There are a lot of nuances that are built into the legal arguments that we've presented, but I think it's important to offer a personal perspective to give you a sense of my motivation and my understanding of how this is impacting lives and how it's impacting communities. I am the son of two very proud public servants. My mom was a career public school teacher, and my father was one of the longest serving federal prosecutors in the state of New Mexico. And one of my earliest memories as a child is waking up in the middle of the night, hearing something in the kitchen. The house was dark, and I remember going into the kitchen as a child, and there was only one light on in the house, and it was a light over the kitchen table. And it was my dad, and he was preparing for trial. I didn't understand what that meant. I didn't really understand what the work was. And it wasn't until many years later that I followed in his footsteps as a prosecutor, that I had some sense of the obligation and some sense of why someone would choose to commit themselves to others. And I hold that memory in my heart, and I think about it every single day, because what I hear in Washington, D.C. from the president and from Elon Musk and from others is a language that is stripped of any humanity. And stripped of any understanding of what truly makes America great. I was raised in the Catholic faith, but my civic faith is tied to my father's service to this country and to one of the things that he made a point of doing when he took me as a child to Washington, D.C. He took me to see the Supreme Court, where he showed me the inscription of equal justice under law, and he took me to the Lincoln Memorial. And he stood with me, and he and I read those words together. And I still believe that the core of what makes America great is our commitment to preserving a country and a government that is built and driven of the people, by the people, and for the people. And what also makes this country great is the notion that we go about our work trying to find the better angels of our nature, and that we do so with malice towards none and with charity for all. It is the generosity of the American spirit. It is the hope. It is everything that my father committed his entire life to doing in service of others. He is not a sucker. He is not a fool. His service to his fellow man and to his country is profoundly meaningful. He was raised in a generation that was specifically called by their president to ask not what their country could do for them, but what they could do for their country. And when he went to work every single day to try and help people, to try and protect people, to try and lift people up and find justice in our courtrooms, he didn't ask anybody if they were a Republican, and he didn't ask anybody if they were a Democrat. He was an American serving others. That's what this country is about. And he is not alone in that. People that spend their lives trying to study diseases or look for cures for cancer or provide some pathway for veterans trying to recover. These are public servants. We don't ask them if they're Republicans or Democrats. We don't demean what they do. We don't degrade who they are. We respect the service. We respect the commitment the shared commitment that we all have to one another. And look, I understand, as the Attorney General referenced, that not everyone agrees with the actions that we've taken. And as a former federal prosecutor and a federal employee, I can tell you I have been in so many meetings that I wished I could have a greater voice on the impact of a dollar spent, or the efficacy of a policy decision, or making government effective and smart and impactful. But you don't do that through chaos and disorder. You don't do that with mindless destruction of federal agencies. And you don't do that by disrespecting and dehumanizing America's public servants. You just don't do it. So if you take nothing away from this tonight, and I'm sure that there are proud public servants here tonight, remember that these are our friends, these are our neighbors, these are our fellow Americans. They have children, they have families, they are doing honorable work, and they deserve our gratitude. And if you want to make America great and you want to make the government work, then do it by following the law, by respecting the Constitution. Do it in a way that brings all of us together and rediscover what makes this country truly exceptional.